Am Freitag geht es nicht nur um eine aktivistische, linksaktivistische Richterin zum Verfassungsgericht. Es geht aber um zwei. Zwei linksaktivistische Richterinnen werden wahrscheinlich am Freitag gewählt, um ins Verfassungsgericht zu kommen. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Look, I'm going to do for the people that watch me that don't live here in Germany. It might sound completely crazy. Okay, so in America we have kind of the same system. The Congress and the Senate vote for judges to get to the Supreme Court. They have the same kind of system here, and so let's put it in perspective here. The winning party, the CDU, right? The CDU, which is supposed to be a conservative, right-leaning party that's based on Christian values. They're the Christian Democrats, okay? That's who won, right? But as I've told you guys before, and as all the German people know, essentially, in order to be able to form a coalition, Friedrich Merz, the leader of the CDU party, basically gave the election to the left, because the left is the only people he could form a coalition with, because he refuses to form a coalition with the AFD, which is more in line with what the CDU wants to get done in the country, or says they want to get done. They don't really want to get it done, because if they did, they would partner with the AFD, and not partnering with the AFD is more important than getting the things done that they want to get done and their vision for Germany. Now, there are judges. They need to vote new judges into the highest court in the land here in Germany. And the left, the SPD, the Social Democrats, so-called, Democrat, all right, social, I don't know, socialist maybe. But they put forward two candidates from their ranks, and both of them are leftist activists. They're lunatics. They're these woke, progressive, leftist activists, completely out of line with what the country voted for, right? The country voted for the CDU so that they could get some more right-leaning conservative politics and get away from this leftist wokeism bullshit insanity. But what they're going to get is a leftist government, and that's what we've got, right? And the CDU put forward two candidates as well, but retracted the candidates because the SPD said, they're too conservative, so we don't want those. So, like a little pussy bitch, Friedrich Merz and the CDU pulled their candidates back and allowed far left extremists to be put forward. They didn't go, oh, well, wait a second, these people are too crazy. These people are too woke and lunatic. We can't have those either. You got to look for some more milder candidates. Nope. They said, all right, we'll vote on them. And of course, the CDU, the party leaders, they want these leftist activists in the court. They really do, because they're going to vote for it. You know why they want to vote for it? Because they don't want the government to break up, the coalition to break in the first 100 days of their government, right? They don't want that. They want to stay in power. And they know the only way to stay in power is to suck the leftist cock of tyranny. That's what they want to do. They're going to, Friedrich Merz and the CDU party is going to get on their fucking knees every single time the SPD says, jump, motherfuckers, because they want to stay in power. So they'll do anything for it. They've already sold their voter base down the river on every promise they made, right? They've already gave that up. They've balked on every promise, right? So now all they have to do is just go in that same line, you know, and they want to vote these people in. Now, one of these judges, right, said publicly in a press conference or something, or I don't think it was an interview, I think it was a press conference, doesn't matter. Her viewpoint is that life doesn't really begin legally until birth, right? Her statement is life is legally not relevant and doesn't get special rights until born, which is basically kind of opening the door for late-term abortion, something which Europe has never even thought about. Nobody's ever argued for it. But Europe's pretty much okay with the abortion rules how they are now, and that's in the first 3 months you can have an abortion without punishment, without repercussions, and after that it's going to be a problem. You'll have to get like special permission. There's got to be a special reason. This woman is basically advocating for late-term abortions and basically saying a fetus of 8 months where you can actually see the fetus and hear its heartbeat and see its eyes and its head and shit. That is not a real human, and therefore is not legally covered. Now, How could the Christian Democrats, okay, how could they allow a leftist activist lunatic into the highest court of the land, right? She has already made clear she's not hiding she's an activist. The judges are supposed to be neutral, right? They're supposed to be neutral. These two possible judges are anything but neutral. They are not neutral at all, and they don't claim to be. So they're not qualified to do this job. When you're talking about the highest court in the country that solves disputes that are very, very, what would you say, controversial, right? You can't have activists. It's like the activist judges in America try to take over everything. Luckily, the Supreme Court is fucking whistling those motherfuckers onto the carpet right away. But here in Germany, there is no court other than that. So it would be like getting AOC in the fucking Supreme Court. You know what I mean? Or what's that other black bitch that thinks she's fucking ghetto? I don't know, Jasmine Crockett into the Supreme Court. There's no way Republicans, at least I don't think so. They might. I don't know. They might. It would be the same thing as letting them into the Supreme Court. And the right, the CDU, the so-called center-right religious conservative party, which they are none of those things, right? They're none of those things. They are supposedly they want to vote for these people to get in order to keep the peace in the coalition. That's basically what it comes down to. The other activist judge has said openly that she wants to use the judgeship and she wants to use the court in order to be able to mandate climate policy that the government can't get done into law. Now, think about, I'm going to say it again, right? She said openly that she would want to use the court and its power to mandate climate policy when the policy can't be made or agreed upon by the government, right? And this new government, right, has already changed the Constitution to include climate change and to include this net zero by 2045 BS bullshit. So that means that now this activist judge can get into the court, look at the Constitution and say, well, it says we have to be climate neutral by 2045. So you have to do this, this, and this, and this now so that we can reach that goal in 2045. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. We have to reach that goal. It's in the Constitution. So that's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. If the CDU allows this to happen, they will be bulking on the whole country, right? Basically bulking on anything they stand for. They don't stand for anything then. And it looks like they're going to let it happen. Now, luckily, some of the CDU base, not the voters, but the underlings in the government, don't want to go for this. They apparently do have at least some values left. Some, right? I guess the late-term abortion thing might be too far for them, right? Because that's what it's about. They don't care about them taking away all your rights and being pro-COVID vaccine mandate or any of that shit. No, this thing about the life isn't legally qualified until they're born, that really has got some of these so-called Christians in panties in a bunch. And they are threatening not to vote along with it. If they don't, it's not going to happen, right? So let's hope that these people have more backbone than the leadership does of this country, right? Because the leadership is going to vote for it and going to vote these leftist morons into fucking government, into the courts. And that's unacceptable. So let's hope that the lower level government employees stick to their principles and their values and that this doesn't happen. We'll see.